Hi, I'm Ineka Susan Okonkwo, a right-hand business coach. Welcome to Productivity TV, where we'll be sharing godly wisdom for the workplace. We'll be focusing on faith, business, and productivity in your everyday work life. So if this is your first time here, remember to like, subscribe, follow, and share. And of course, if you have questions, kindly drop them in the comments and I'll be there to take your questions. I once had a colleague who was really great at what she did. She actually loved what she did in terms of her skill sets. However, she just found that she was totally misaligned with the vision of the workplace. She always said, I don't really connect with what we do here. And even during our meetings, when we would have strategy sessions, she would say, I don't connect. I can't even really think because I'm not excited about what we do here. And by the time I interacted with her, I found that, of course, like most people, she just needed to work so that she could put food on the table. But I found that she was always sad, she was always complaining, and she was unfulfilled. You see, misplacement is very real. It's a very real thing. And it is more common than we often admit. So you've probably seen it, a gifted designer stuck in admin, frustrated and overlooked. Or someone who's probably maybe a high flyer, in one of the big four companies. All she wants to do is sing. You could have a passionate teacher in a corporate job silently grieving the classroom. You could have a manager promoted beyond her strengths, drowning in expectation. Actually, do you know that some people do not want to operate in management or leadership positions? Why? Because they are more technical in terms of their leanings. And then you could find that someone's always suffering from burnout, not because that they don't care, but because they are caring in the wrong space. Misplacement is a real thing. Your placement is where you fit in, where you thrive and have authority. Remember the first series where I spoke about work being God's idea and how he created an environment, planted an environment called Eden as man's first workplace. It was Adam's place to thrive and do well. So your position is a place of mastery. I believe that it was in Eden that God brought the animals to Adam to name. And so you find that Adam's place of dominion was actually Eden, the happy place, the delightsome land. Now, I'd spoken about Genesis 2:8. You can find that video, please. Work is God's idea. And I spoke about God putting man in Eden. So the question is, where has God put you? Where has God placed you? I know we're talking about work and people are wondering all these questions about work. Yes, because your work is not necessarily your job. You could find a job, but you've not found your work. And it's a good thing to ask that question. God, where have you put me? It's a big question. It's not you trying to force fit yourself into, trying to be a square peg in a round hole. So you're not trying to force fit yourself into a position where everything is about you trying to conform to other people's standards. You know, one thing, someone was saying, we were listening to someone some days ago, myself and a friend, and we said, this girl sounds like this person. And my friend said, why doesn't she just be herself? Because it's very clear that she's trying to be like this person. You know, when you try to conform to another person's standard, the best you'll be is like. That person will always be the original. The best you'll be would be a copy. So the productivity question is about you finding your Eden, your happy workplace, your delightsome land, where the Lord has placed you. The Hebrew word Seim, I hope I pronounced it right for all our Jewish viewers out there, means to place, to appoint, to establish and ordain. So it means that God ordained Adam in Eden. God appointed Adam in Eden. And so your workplace actually is a place of ordination, is a place of ordering and establishment. Today, many in society struggle with a sense of misplacement. Misplacement can occur when an individual's skills, values, personalities, or goals do not align with their current environments, leading to a range of psychological, emotional, and professional consequences. Misplacement actually is the source of many problems. When we say burnout, when you enjoy what you do, when you feel like I'm made for this, I was born for this, you rarely experience burnout. But people are always burned out because they are trying to be square pegs in round holes. Misplacement leads to a confused identity. You keep questioning who you are. Who you are. Who am I? Misplacement leads to low self-esteem. I remember. So I'm not very good. I'm not a figures person. I could pass, but it's not my place of mastery. And I remember one day walking with one of my classmates then in the University of Ife, OAU, Bafema War University. So I was walking with one of my classmates and she cried because I asked her, why are you crying? She was really crying, on the way to class. And she said in the test we had, she had gotten a B. And I had been comforting her for crying. I said, what did you get? And I think I got a D or so. I got a D. But she was really very good when it came to figures and all of that. But I found that I just signed up that course because, well, I wasn't really clear about what I wanted to do. So you find these things that where you are misplaced, you could operate at a substandard level, you would underperform. Whereas people whose natural giftings, whose skill sets, whose competencies match with the environment, you see them thriving. It's like a fish trying to fly. A fish can't compete with a bird in the sky. But then take a fish and put it in its natural environment, water, and then bring the bird into the water to compete, and you'd see. So your Eden is your place of mastery. And when you are misplaced, you begin to feel these identity questions. You feel confusion around, who you are, low self-esteem, anxiety. Imagine the fish being told, oh, there's going to be a contest now, which we experience many times. You're having tests, you're having exams, you're having interviews, you are asked maybe to speak. It feels like the fish and the bird being asked to compete in the sky. Because you are going to compete with people who are placed in their natural environments where they thrive. And then you are being taken out of your natural environment and asked to compete. That is the question, the big question of misplacement. You could have an inability to relate well with people in the workplace because you feel misplaced. I'd already said it, you feel underproductive, decreased job performance. And of course, there'll be comparisons that, why aren't you doing as good as A? But the question is, that you don't fit in. It's that environment. Misalignment between the person and their job role or their work leads to low motivation, lack of creativity, and reduced output. Being out of your place would give you an aura of oddity and awkwardness. You'll struggle to function confidently because you are not in your God-ordained and appointed environment. I'd like to share a scripture. Proverbs 27 verse 8 says, as a bird wanders from her nest, so is a man that wanders from his place. When a bird wanders away from her comfort zone or its comfort zone, it's subject to predators, risks, dangers. And it says that a bird that wanders from a nest is likened, the person that is misplaced is likened to a bird that wanders away from its nest. Now, what are some causes of misplacement? Number one is the lack of self-awareness. You don't really know who you are. You don't know your competencies. You are not very sure of who you are. And it's very important that you become a student of self in order to discover who you are and who we are meant to be. Number two, a disconnection from God. And this comes many times from sin. When you are connected to God, your Creator points you to who you are and gives you the manual for your life. Conforming to other people's standards. In the world today where everybody's trying to look like everybody else, people are losing their identities. And once you lose your identity, it's more difficult to function because you've left your place of originality. People pleasing, comparing your journey to others, trying to run another person's race. You can't try to achieve with somebody's strategies what you are meant to do, whereas his strategy is for what he was meant to do. And then there's the place of laziness. Yes, people begin to feel misplaced because they're lazy. If you get up really and you have a diligent attitude to life, you would, of course, find your place. You must be diligent about finding your place. You must be diligent about being productive. There are two people that their major problem is mental laziness. You give up easily in life. You just say, I don't know what to do. There are so many people who find who have gone into an autopilot mode of beggarliness because they feel like, I don't know what to do in life. Every year after year after year, I don't know what to do in life. But many times it comes from a place of mental laziness. So being misaligned with God's plan, purposes, and policies for your life will take you to a place of misplacement. I'd like to round up with this personal reflection questions. Do you feel at odds with your purpose, your placement, your policy, your provision, your partner when it comes to your life's work? And then, do you feel like you are out of place in your workplace? I want you to just pray a simple prayer because I'm not going to give you strategies right now. I want you to pray a simple prayer because I believe that the beginning of the journey of proper placement starts with your Creator. And the simple prayer is, Father, show me my Eden. Place me where I will thrive. Realign me with your purpose, your provision, and your plans for my life. And so that's it for today. Stay tuned to this channel. And until I come your way next time, stay productive.